Aloha ukulele class. This is lesson 15. This is our final instructional video for the semester. I hope that you've enjoyed the class, that you've gotten a lot out of it, and whether you've breezed through this stuff or you've struggled with it, that we're getting a handle on some of the basics and fundamentals that will allow you to study music on your own after the class is finished. So this lesson today, none of the things that we're doing is required for you to play right now, but this is kind of the part of the semester where I present some things that I think are kind of cool, and whether or not you're able to play them, you might be able to get some of the basic concepts, like the finger, the picking pattern, the position for the right hand, or some of the techniques. And these are things that I think are pretty interesting tunes that kind of put a lot of the things together that we've learned over the course of the semester. So they might be things you want to try now and work on for fun, or things that you can try later on down the road when you get better at some of the basic stuff, like switching from chord to chord is always a challenge. And then whenever you learn some new chords, then you have to get to move into those new chords smoothly and quickly. So it's kind of an ongoing process. But yeah, I'm sure that there are probably some of you who have kind of done well with Brown Eyed Girl and Let It Be and Aloha Oi, harmony with strumming, some of the more difficult tunes that we've done, and ready for a new challenge. So anyway, today we're gonna do Layla. So the documents, you should get ready: Eric Clapton, Layla, Bridge, Danny Boy, and Jack Johnson, Imagine. Okay, and other than that, after this we'll have the exam 2. That's on Monday, November 30th, which is the same day I'm posting this video. So by the time you watch this, it might have already happened. And then the last 2 Flipgrid assignments will give you a chance to play your recital songs for me, so that I can give you some feedback on that before you record your final recital. Those you do get feedback, but it's already in the grade book by then. That's the last thing. So I believe that's like assignment 21 and 22 will be just play your recital songs, which I hope that you've already been working on those and got those ready to play, and then you'll get some feedback from me before you have to record the final. So and that'll be it for the semester. So anyway, let's get right to it. Let's do Danny Boy first. So this one has some chords that you are familiar with and some that you aren't, like F, F7. A minor is kind of like the way that we play it in Green Sleeves, where we add this note. And F, sometimes we have to add that note too, like the way we did in Amazing Grace. That's always a note you can just add on to A minor or F. It doesn't change the chord symbol. D minor, C. This is like kind of the C that we use a lot in Aloha Oi. And then some other ones where you just have to kind of look at the tabs and figure them out. Okay. Let me play through this a little bit and see if there's anything. I mean, this works pretty much exactly the way Aloha Oe works and Amazing Grace harmony. You just have to read the tabs and put it all together. Okay, so we got two F7s there. This one, now if you can reach this note while holding onto the chord, it's better because the next chord is the same thing but with the pinky added here on the 3rd fret of the A string. So you kind of stretch over there and get it. And then this G minor is kind of different. It goes like this, 3, 2, 3. And you want to use these fingers because you can do that passage like this. And then just switch like that. And leaving these two fingers in place. Some 2-note chords like in Ode to Joy harmony. Repeat there. You can always add in some hammer-ons if you want, or slides. That always makes things more interesting. Okay, so that's a lot of tab reading there. This chord is with a bar on 5, D minor 11, and then this goes on 8. So it's only 2 fingers to use there, and you want to leave the G string open. It's a nice chord. This one goes 5, 6, 7, like this. And then we have a C7, which is a bar on 3, and then middle finger goes on the 4th fret of the C string. Then I'll repeat. You want to just kind of slide your pinky along when you do that. Take it off the string. I think we're done with the most difficult passages. This one is just 12 and 13 like this. That's like a kind of F chord. And then 10 and 13. And then kind of 10, 8, and 10 you want to hold for that. Those last 3 notes in that measure. Big switch back to F with this note added. And that part isn't really that hard because only 2 notes you have to hold down, but going back to the open position is hard. That one is like Aloha Oe harmony and Amazing Grace harmony, but just with a lot more and a few different chords like C7 and this kind of D minor chord. But really nice harmony in there. And all you have to do really is read the tabs. You can watch the example video if you want to see like what fingerings I'm using. But also you can just kind of try to do some problem solving, and you know, these songs are kind of like little puzzles that you have to figure out. Later on you might have a song that you want to do that where I'm not there to tell you which finger to use, so sometimes you have to just kind of figure it out and try it one way, and then maybe that way doesn't work so well, and you try it a different way until you get the best way that makes sense. So Danny Boy, that's one. That's a good one. It's got the melody and the chords all together. And then let's see, next one, let's do Layla. Let's save the Jack Johnson one for the end. Okay, now this one has more strumming in it. Okay, and the song Layla, it has a few different versions. The original is like this rock version, and then towards the middle of the song it kind of slows down and plays this part, which is the bridge part, but this part of the song is almost like an entirely different song. It sounds almost like they end one song and start another song, but it's all kind of part of the same recording. And then there's another version of this where Eric Clapton does Layla acoustic, but they don't play this part of the song. And this is kind of like the piano part that I've made a ukulele arrangement, well, a guitar arrangement first and then an ukulele arrangement, and I think it sounds pretty cool. This one will have more chords that you recognize. Alright, let's go through it. So first F. So you'll notice here that you kind of change to A minor, or you know, you can also think of this as F major 7. But you take your finger off one strum before right here. Everything else here is F, and then the last strum you just take this finger off. Single notes. Now you want to play this 3 with your pinky because you're gonna use it here in this chord. So this is B flat, and if you remember, B flat is like this 3, 2, 1, and you bar, and that's the normal B flat. And this one, we're gonna put that pinky on 3 and do it without the bar, like this. Okay, and then you have a Chukka Strum, which we've done previously in Have You Ever Seen the Rain and in Over the Rainbow, just like that. And this kind of combines a chukka with like a melody, a chord melody line, which is kind of cool. So you do that one first, chuck, and then you take your pinky off and bar. That's the next B flat chord. Up, up, chuck. Take the bar off. Just leave the A string open on this one. Up, up, chuck. And then B flat 6 is you put the pinky back, but this time you're putting it on the E string like this. And you go up, up, down. And when you come down, you take the pinky off. So you get it like this sort of line that goes. Okay, but while you're holding the B flat chord, so you get pinky, on 3 on the A string, and then B flat with the bar, and then without the bar, and then with the pinky on the E string 3rd fret, and then off, like that, okay? And then when you put the strum with the chukka in there, it sounds like this. I'll do it slow. Okay, and then in the next measure, that's probably the hardest part of the song, actually, is this. And then take your middle finger off, and that makes an F sus4, like that. And it's a quick switch to F. So you go like that, down, up, down, up. Okay, that's kind of a cool thing that you can do with F. Adding the ring finger and taking it off. Okay, so that goes. Now this was the same thing again. Have A7, except we play the A7 like this with the first finger and the ring finger here on the E string 3rd fret, and you strum 3 strings like so, and then you take your ring finger off. Now anytime you see this where it's like you're going to a note that's the same fret on a different string, you can use this finger roll where you kind of roll, and that usually makes the line sound a little bit smoother. Like if I have to go, then I just kind of roll my finger back and forth. That's different than just holding them down together, because if you don't do that, then you get these short little notes. So you can use that finger roll, and then A7 again, except you strum all 4 strings. You can do the reverse finger roll here. That's just a technique that makes your line sound smoother. Strumming, and then it repeats. This is the first ending, and the repeat takes you back to here. Skip and go to the second ending. Some of the students in this class still don't understand that. When they repeat, they still play the first ending and the second ending. No. When you repeat, you always skip this and go to the second ending. That's how the endings work. Some people just can't get that for some reason, but you will. Eventually you will. You'll figure it out eventually. Okay. So we're going to the second ending. And remember, when you do that, don't play the first ending. Just skip it and go to the second ending. That's how the endings work. D minor. Okay, here we've got a hammer-on and a pull-off. So we talked about the hammer-on. I'm not sure if we talked about pull-offs. I think that we haven't. So let's just do 0 and 1 on this string. It's easier to learn it when you're using an open string. So hammer-on from 0 to 1 goes like that. And then pull-off is the opposite. You play this note and then pull it off like that. And if you pull like kind of down on the string, it's almost like you're plucking the string. It makes your pull off sound more strong, more audible. Hammer on, pull off. Hammer on, pull off. And then I can do a hammer on pull off. So that's where I hammer on and then pull off. I'm only hitting the string once. Okay, and then let's do the 1 to 3 hammer on. So I have to hold down this note and hammer on this note with my ring finger. Okay, a little harder to use your ring finger to do that. Hammer on. Okay, and then pull off. So I'm holding on to the 1 when I do that. And then hammer on, pull off. There you go. Okay, and that's what's indicated here with the slur mark across all 3 notes. That means you pluck this one, but then these, you're making the sound with your left hand, not your right hand. C, just open strings there. F, A7, D minor. Now this is a lot like the F thing that we did. Sorry, not F, but B flat. This one's easier though. First one is this, just holding this one note. It's like F without the middle finger. Chuck, up on the open strings. Chuck, and then you put this note down. Open again, and then C. And you want to take that off at the end because you have a repeat sign that takes you back to the top. And when they play the song, they go through this like several times, always playing this part, first ending, repeat, second ending, and then this part, and then going back to the top. So that's kind of a cool song that combines some strumming, some picking, and with the Chukka Strum. So another one that kind of puts several techniques together, and you even have a little hammer on there. These chords though are not as challenging as the ones in Danny Boy. So that's a cool tune. Check out the example recording. Always listen to those. Those show you the song kind of in full of me playing it, just the ukulele part. So also you might want to listen to Eric Clapton's Layla, the whole thing. Jack Johnson, Imagine. So this is a guitar thing, and then I've changed it to ukulele. Now this one you can actually play with the original recording. So if you go on YouTube and look up Jack Johnson Imagine, then you can play this along with that recording. But in order to do that, you have to tune your ukulele up a half step. So the way you do that, here, let me just, I don't really want to tune the ukulele up right now, but you use your tuner, and I don't know if you can see that. Okay, my tuner, all right, so that's G, and in order to do this, you have to set your tuner to the chromatic mode. So my tuner is, it has 3 modes, so it has guitar, bass, and then nothing. And nothing is the setting that I use because you know, that's the chromatic setting, and that works for for tuning pretty much anything. And what chromatic means is that you can tune not just to the standard tuning notes, but you can tune your strings to any note. And so what I want to do for this, tune up a half step, which means I want to tune up G to G sharp. So I got G, and then I want to go up. So now I've got G, and there's a sharp next to it. Okay, and then I do, it's just one, so the needle goes up to the next note, and that's all you have to do. So G, and you see the needle's going up, and I get it in the center, and that's it. And I do that for each string, and then I go back and check it, G sharp, C sharp, E sharp, and A sharp. Or G sharp, C sharp, F, A sharp, but you're only tuning it up one step. On other tuners, you might have 5 different modes, so like guitar, bass, ukulele, violin, and chromatic. And when you switch modes on your tuner, it might say G, B, U, V, and C. And C is what you want. That's the chromatic setting. That allows you to tune half step up or half step down tuning. Okay. Always tune your ukulele before you play it. I get some of these videos, and it sounds like it's a little bit out of tune. So you should always tune it like really, really well before you record anything, because you might be playing all the right notes, but it just sounds bad because your instrument is out of tune. So it's like that's something that you can do to sabotage yourself, and you don't even really have a chance to make it sound good because it's just out of tune. So this one, again, the chords really aren't that challenging. This is more of a picking thing. So we've done a few things where we pick with our fingers, like Let It Be, where we have this picking pattern. Ode to Joy Picking is kind of the same. And we did the other one you can do with your thumb, and a lot of these we've done with our thumb. I don't think we've done a picking pattern like this before. So a lot of ukulele picking patterns follow this right hand position. So the thumb plays the G string and the C string, and the first finger plays only on the E string, and the middle finger plays only on the A string. Okay, so if we look at that first one, it's F, but we don't need to hold this note because it's not played. So all you have to do there is just hold down E string first fret, okay, and then you're going to go E string, A string, E string, C string, A string, E string, C string, A string, and you use your thumb on the C, your first finger on the E, and your middle finger on the A. So like this, and okay, let's play that very slowly. Ready? Again, ready? So when you have a tune like this that uses a picking pattern, then the first thing you want to do is just play the picking pattern several times until you can do it pretty smoothly. Like when we do Let It Be, the first thing we did was we went like this several times until we get the basic thing happening. On this one, now that's a picking pattern. I can do that on any chord. Have fun like playing whatever chords and just keep that picking pattern going. Okay, so that's a fun one. So let's go through this just a little bit. All right, so on the next measure, all you have to do here is you have to add this note in there. This is a nice chord, F major 7. Well, when I play the G, it's like F major 9, but so I go from F, ready, picking pattern, slowly. And then I take it off, okay, and pluck that. It doesn't matter which fingers you use to play that chord. You can do it like this, or you can pinch it like that, and then this one. So picking the chords breaks the picking pattern slightly, but like I said, you can do this, or you can do this. And this is our B flat major 7. It's like B flat without the bar. Now this is kind of a tricky part. You want to watch out here because this is where we take this finger and this finger off. So this is kind of the equivalent of when we take our fingers off the strings to switch chords. So basically what I'm doing is I'm switching back to F here at this point. Parts in this song where you'll be picking your chord, but then you'll see zeros at the end, and those are the parts of where you take some fingers off and make switches. So this one, the form is a little bit tricky here. This is the first, second, and third ending. So we have like 1 through 3 sign there, and what that means is we play this 1, 2, second time we do that again, third time we do that again, but then the fourth time we skip it and we go to the fourth ending. So you can have multiple endings like that. You could have like 1 through 7 endings, and then the 8th time you skip it and go to the 8th ending. All right, so you do that 4 times. Hammer on here. Gotta watch out when the thumb changes from the G string to the C string. That's tricky. Remember, the thumb plays both those strings. Just whatever you do in this song, just don't use your thumb on anything except the last chord. We do a strum like that on the whole chord. Other than that, all of the little 2-note chords will be plucked either like that or like that. Use the 2-finger plucking or the thumb and finger pinch. And it really doesn't matter which one you do. Now, another thing that you want to keep in mind when you're doing finger style things is you need to have your thumb out here in front of your first finger. Never cross the thumb underneath your first finger. That's sort of the equivalent of tripping over yourself and falling down. Okay? Because these fingers are kind of operating independent of each other, and when you do that, you're taking your thumb out of position. So I get this a lot where the thumb is crossing over. And then the other thing is, like, when you're doing that, you're not plucking the string at a good angle. You're plucking it sort of to the side, which is no good. Okay, so all you have to do is just put that thumb out. When you look down, you should see kind of like the fingers like an X almost, and it just never goes underneath that finger. I mean, there's really nothing I can do to prevent you from doing that if you decide that, well, I like this other way better, but I'm just telling you now is the time to develop like good habits, and later on when you start speeding things up and trying to do things that are harder, if you're doing that, you're going to experience a lot of problems from that, and the results are not going to be good. So those fingers can get real close to one another, but just don't cross the thumb underneath. And that's kind of a common comment that I give on these Flipgrid videos, assignments. Like if I see people doing that, I tell them not to. So I've got good reasons, and the main reason is that, like, when you speed up, crossing the thumb under that finger is going to cause you to not be able to go that fast. That's the main reason. Okay, so 3 times. Every time you go to that verse, it's 3 times, and then the 4th time you skip it and you play the 4th ending. You do not play this measure and then this measure. That's a no-no. Okay, this part down here, that's one of the harder parts in the song, G minor. Okay, that's a chord that we know. And at that point, you take your finger off. When you see that 0 at the end of the measure, that's indicating that you should take your fingers off and get ready to switch to another chord. And this is like another G minor, which goes like this: 5, 5, 3, and 5. 5 on the C string, 3 on the E string, 5 on the A string. Some people prefer to do it like that. I like it this way with these 3 fingers. Either way is fine, as long as you can make it to the chord. And the other thing about playing fingerstyle is that since we're not strumming all the notes at the same time, you can place them one at a time. So when you switch to G minor, you can go this 1 and 2. And that's a way that you can make the switches more efficient, or, you know, if you can get to the but that's a good way to do it, is just to place the notes one at a time. You know, that's probably not necessary for like C and F or B flat, but you can always do that. this C, we hold down both threes on the E and the A string. And it doesn't matter how you do that. You can do it this way, you can do it with these two fingers, you can bar it. Okay, this is just another way to play C. Sounds different than this. Okay. The chorus, we got a bar B flat. Okay, anytime you see that 0 at the end of the measure and it's not part of your chord, like, you know, F and B flat, that is a note in your chord, then you want to take your fingers off. That's how we make the switch. Off, off, off. You have to do that 3 times. It has a repeat sign in brackets and then the 3x, and then after 3 times you do this: B flat, C, F, F, and then we've got DS al coda. Hopefully by now you know what that means. DS means to find this sign, that's an S with a line through it and 2 dots, and go back to it and play from there. And then the al coda part is when you get this instruction, da coda or 2 coda or 2. They could use this bullseye symbol for the coda too. When you encounter that, then you skip to the coda. So DS al coda, go back to here, play this again, and then when you get back to here, you don't go on to measure 23, you skip to the end. So the ending is B flat, C, and then the coda, which you just strum that chord. Okay, so whether or not, you know, you can play this whole thing and do all the chords and get it up to speed with the recording, that doesn't really matter. You may be able to do that. It may take you a while. You may have to practice it for a long time before you can do the whole thing. But the thing you can do is practice this picking pattern and learn or the B flat one. We get the thumb up here. Practice it until it sounds like something smooth, and that's a good exercise for your right hand. You can do that on any chord. Regardless of whether you can do that whole song, it's helpful to practice at least the picking pattern, or maybe you could get the verse part. I think it's always better to learn the whole thing. When I was a kid and I was taking lessons, my instructor would always teach me like just one part of the song or like a couple parts of the song, and I would have all of these sort of parts of songs that I could play, but not entire songs. But we didn't have the internet back then either, so you couldn't just look up a song online and find the music to it. You know, you had to rely on someone to sit there and show you note by note how to play it. And usually what would happen is you'd learn it, but learn it like the wrong way or just part of it. But you're lucky you have all of these resources now. The song in its entirety. And you won't find this online. This is a chart that I made. Danny Boy, I did that. I kind of found a partial chart and then filled it in with a bunch of different stuff and made made it sound cool. This one I did Layla. I transcribed the piano part and then put it to guitar, and then did the ukulele version of it. So we got that Layla. That's a good one for strumming. Combine some strumming with some other things. I mean, Over the Rainbow is pretty cool. That's a really famous and popular tune here, and you get the chukka chukka. And the little reggae beat with the accents. But I tell you what, you play that whole chart, and without the singing, it's boring. It gets boring. Charts like these are cool because they have like little interesting passages, little riffs, or Layla, which has the melody. There are things that you can just play on solo ukulele. I don't know, some of you might like singing. You can sing Brown Eyed Girl or Over the Rainbow while you play. But some of you might not, but not publicly anyway. And it's cool to have little things like these that you can play just on the ukulele that are complete songs with the melody and the riffs and that sound cool. You know, you wouldn't want to just play Brown Eyed Girl for someone without the singing. Maybe this part is cool. But this, without the singing, it's too boring. We learn it because that's a thing that you have to learn, is how to switch from chord to chord and how to do basic strumming. But for solo ukulele, you want to be working on things like these, you know, at least Aloha Oi or Ode to Joy or something like that. Okay, well, that'll do it for today's lesson. And I will post the example videos and the study materials. I'll send you the exam, and then after that is just do Flipgrid assignments where you submit your 2 recital songs. You get a chance to get some feedback from me, and then record them again on the final recital, and that's it for the semester. So congratulations for completing the course. I know it's a lot of stuff, but hopefully you've made a lot of improvements, and I've enjoyed watching the progress that you've been making. So keep it up and take care. Mahalo.